Hello, what's up? What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to From Success Principles to Properties. This is episode 18. 18 episodes in out of 64. We are reviewing Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles. As I mentioned, there are 64 principles that changed my life that I followed one day at a time, step by step, practicing each one until I changed the way I think, changed the way I act, and I did it because of Jack Canfield's book was part of the process. So I highly recommend checking out Jack's book. Go to Amazon, go online, use bookstore, whatever works for you. Just check it out. So much credit to Jack Canfield. Like I said, I'm going to review all 64 principles. And so important to go back to episode 1 and watch the last 17. So like I said, they build on top of each other. My goal with this series is to share, well, verbatim, read from the book, let you know what I think about it, as well as give real life experiences that I've dealt with in life based on the chapter and in real estate investing. So if you're in the real estate world, hopefully I'll help you dodge some bullets or learn from some successes and make your journey a little bit more smoother. That would be great to hear. So I'm going to jump in here. My name is Mike DelPrete, Executive Director of the Arizona Real Estate Investors Association. We've been supporting real estate investors for 21 years here in Arizona. Our mission is to provide resources, support, education, market information, government information, networking opportunities to real estate investors throughout the state, and so they can reach their financial goals, change the way, the trajectory of their family and their financial future, as well as having our members provide safe, clean, affordable housing for the citizens here in the state of Arizona. So thank you for being here. Check the previous episodes, get caught up, leave a question, comment, concern, idea in the chat. I will check them. Give us a subscribe. We have a lot of real estate investing information for you to check out. Also, you can go dive into our description where we have links to a library of free ebooks for you to check out. So that's my beginning thoughts here. And what we're going to do is jump into use feedback to your advantage, right? To kind of like play off the last one, which we were talking about rejection. So this is going to dive in. Like I said, you gotta go back and watch all the episodes, or at least follow them. And I'm making sure we're live on YouTube here. Internet is crazy. So I'll jump in. Use feedback to your advantage. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Once you begin to take action, you'll start getting feedback about whether you're doing the right thing. You'll get data, advice, help, suggestions, direction, and even criticism that will help you constantly adjust and move forward while continually enhancing your knowledge, abilities, attitudes, and relationships. But asking for feedback is really only the first part of the equation. Once you receive feedback, you have to be willing to respond to feedback. So there are two kinds of feedback you're going to encounter: negative, positive, right? So obviously we prefer positive, like results, money, praise, raise, promotion, satisfied customers, awards, happiness, inner peace, intimacy, pleasure, right? Feels great. We tend not to like the negative, like lack of results, little to no money, criticism, poor evaluations, being passed over, complaints, unhappiness, inner conflict, right? So it's valuable that one of the most useful projects you could undertake is to change how you feel about negative feedback. I like to refer to negative feedback as information about improvement opportunities. The world is telling me where and how I can improve what I'm doing. Here's a place I can get better. Here's where I can correct my behavior to get even closer to what I want, what I say I want: more money, more sales, more promotions, better relationships, better grades, more success. To reach your goals more quickly, you need to welcome, receive, and embrace all feedback that comes your way. So I was always taught, there's no such thing as failure, only feedback, right? So, like we said, two types of feedback, negative and positive. But feedback is important. We must take it into consideration. Jack talks about how he would do in his seminars a specific exercise. So basically, he'd ask for a volunteer. The volunteer, he'd say, stand at the end of the room. He'd be in the front of the room, and basically, Jack is gonna walk towards this person, and it's a straight way to that person. So it's either I'm on course or off course. So as Jack walks towards this person, their job is to say on course, off course. And Jack will purposely step off course, step to the left. He'll zigzag, whatever it is. And that person, that volunteer, is constantly giving the feedback to say, get back on course, to eventually where he reaches the person, high fives them, whatever it may be. Then he walks slowly. So I think he does it again. Let me see what he says. On course, purposely off course. Yep, zigzags. He says he asks the audience after he gets to the end, tell me which the volunteer had said more often. So he asked the audience, hey, audience, is the volunteer saying on course or off course more often? The answer is always off course. And there's the interesting part, I was off course more than I was on course, and I still got there. Just by continually taking action, constantly adjusting the feedback, the same is true in life. All you have to do is start taking action and then respond to the feedback. If we do that diligently enough and long enough, we will eventually get our goals and achieve our dreams. So, what are some ways we respond to feedback? Right? He has a couple different ways. We cave in and we quit. Right? We just give up. Right? The feedback's coming in. We don't like it. The negative feedback might be coming in. You're not getting any positive feedback. So what you'll do is you'll quit. So what's another form of feedback? It would be getting mad at the source of the feedback. So how often have you tried to be kind, helpful to somebody? Hey, maybe you shouldn't do it that way, or I have experience doing this, but if you try doing this way, it might go a little better, right? And the person gets mad or offended by you giving that feedback. Have you ever reacted to anger, right? With anger to somebody? I have. We're all guilty of it at some level. So we have caving in, giving up, getting angry at the person giving feedback, and ignoring the feedback, right? He says, imagine putting fingers in my ears and not listening to the volunteer as he's doing that process. So he's ignoring, if the volunteer is saying you're going off course, he's ignoring it. So what's going to happen, right? Not listening and ignoring feedback is another response that doesn't work. We all know people who tune out everyone's point of view but their own. They're simply not interested in what other people think. They don't want to hear anyone else what they have to say. The sad thing is, feedback can significantly transform their lives if they would just listen. So we talked about crying and falling apart and quitting, getting angry, and just ignoring the feedback. Remember, feedback is simply information. You don't have to take it personally. Just welcome it and use it. The most intelligent and most productive response is to say, thank you for the feedback. Thank you for caring enough to take the time to tell me how you see this and how you feel. I appreciate it, right? So don't take it personally. Take it as help. Take it as guidance. That's all I had, right? Like, so when I was new to real estate investing, I had a partner, also like a mentor, and I could have took that opportunity to be in that office and do what I think I had to do, right? I just didn't know anything, so I was a sponge, right? But I could have easily had, like, I just know, we all know people that just think they're right like all the time, and they don't take any feedback. They don't take any. They just want to figure it out on their own and learn the hard way. So I could have done that, and I probably wouldn't have lasted that long. So anytime I'm trying to learn something or get or something new, or I'm in a new scenario, whether it's a fix and flip, a rental, or I'm trying to learn how to raise more money. There's always different higher levels we can go. I am the quiet one. I'm listening. I'm hearing what people are telling each other, the questions they're asking. The feedback they're giving other people in the room, right? And I'm taking notes. So it's good to ask for feedback, right? Most people don't voluntarily give feedback, right? They might keep to themselves. They're quiet. So ask for feedback. It's uncomfortable. There's possible confrontation. They don't, people don't want to hurt your feelings. They're afraid of your reaction. They don't want to risk disapproval. So to get honest and open feedback, you're going to need to ask for it and make it safe for the person to give it to you. In other words, don't shoot the messenger. Powerful question to ask family, friends, and colleagues is, how do you see me limiting myself? You might think that the answers would be hard to listen to, but most people find the information valuable, right? It's good. So I would never ask people, what do you think, what do you think's limiting me? That's great, because like we get stuck in our own ways, right? So it's like we could be doing things totally wrong. I'm trying to think of a scenario maybe I could share with you uh, in real estate that I have, man. Like I've always had good guidance, and I always just listened, man, and try to take the best advice from the people that are successful, and I'll just copy what they do. So just definitely be open to asking people and be willing to hear them with good intentions. The most valuable question you may ever learn, right? So he says the question that you're going to want to ask anyone in personal or business, from relationships, business partners, whatever it may be, is on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate the quality of our relationship, service, product, right? During the last week, whether it's 2 weeks, month, quarter, semester, whatever you want. Then they're going to give you an answer, right? From 1 to 10. So there's going to be variations, right? So he gives an example. On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate my meeting we just had? Me as a manager, me as a parent, me as a teacher, the class, right? Any answer less than 10, you use a follow-up question. What would it take to make it a 10? I remember I would do this when I had a job, when I was trying to change my way, and I'm reading the book and I'm trying to change the way I think. I would see like everything was so strict at Verizon Wireless. There's rules like you got to clock out, clock in. If you're late, you get warnings, all this stuff. And I would see people get fired or warnings or suspended for all this stuff. So I was like, how do I beat that, right? And I think it was because of this book. I'm trying to recall. But every Friday, I would go up to my supervisor, and on a scale from 1 to 10, how did I do this week? How was my business? How did I perform as a customer service agent in my cubicle, right? And they would go, good, bad, anything I could do better, anything I missed, anything you think we should talk about. So at the end of every week, I'm clearing the air, right? Like it's not like, hey man, over the last month, we've noticed you've been kind of slacking, or you didn't really do this, or you didn't do good on this evaluation, and we meant to talk to you about it. No, it's like every Friday, let's just wrap this week up. I know exactly what I did. If they give me feedback, take it, do better next week. Hey, next week, the following week, how'd I do? Great. Well, last week you said I did this. How'd I do about that? Or it improved. Great. So like that shows you care. It builds the relationship. There's a lot to be said there. So the question is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate the quality of our relationship, or how would you rate our service? How would you rate our meeting? And then if anything less than a 10, what would it take to make it a 10? And let that person give you that feedback and just take it for what it is and adjust from there. Make it a weekly ritual. He's saying he asks his wife every Sunday night. Okay, there you go. It's kind of similar to what I was doing at work, so I won't dive into that too much. Be willing to ask. Like I said, don't be afraid to ask people. I know it takes a lot to hear what someone has to say, fear of rejection. We talked a lot about fear in these chapters. And also chapter number 1 is take 100% responsibility for your life. Most people would rather complain than take constructive action to solve their problems. The only problem is that they are complaining to the wrong person. They should be telling you, but they are unwilling to, for fear of your reaction. As a result, you're being deprived of the very thing you need to improve in your relationship, your product, your service, your teaching. You must do 2 things to remedy this. First, you must intentionally and actively solicit feedback. Ask your partner, friends, family, colleagues, bosses, partners for feedback. Use the question frequently. Make it a habit to ask for feedback. What can I do to make this better? How can we make it better? How do we get it to a 10, right? So second, you must be grateful for the feedback. Do not get defensive. Say, thank you for caring enough to share that with me. I'm truly grateful for your feedback. You'll get a reputation for being open to feedback. And remember, feedback is a gift that helps you be more effective. Another thing, this might be one of the best-selling weight loss books ever published was The Thin Thighs in 30 Days. What's so interesting about it is that they developed the book solely through feedback. The author worked in an advertising agency but hated her job. She wanted to start her own agency but didn't have the money to do so. She knew she would need about $100,000, so she began asking, what's the quickest way to raise $100,000? Sell a book was the feedback that she got. So she decided to write a book that could sell 100,000 copies in 90 days, and she would make $1 per book. She would raise then $100,000 that she needed. All right, so, but what kind of book would 100,000 people want? Well, what are the best-selling books in America? Weight loss books. Yes, but how would I distinguish myself as an expert? Ask other women. So she went out to the marketplace and asked, if you could lose weight in only one part of your body, what would you choose? It was the thighs. When would you want to lose it? Around April or May, in time for swimsuit season. So what she did, she wrote a book called Thin Thighs in 30 Days and released it April 15th. By June, she had $100,000, all because she asked people what they want what they wanted and responded to the feedback they gave. Brilliant, right? Like that. There's a old book, not old book, it's maybe like 7 years old. It's called Ask, and I forgot the author's name, and he just basically just built businesses by asking customers what they wanted. Like we just did that here at AZREIA. Just on our main meeting, part of the polling that we do at all our meetings was what kind of education you want. Like it is at some level we do determine what we teach, because there's always fundamentals and basics, but we pay attention to the market, and through our experience of being in the market for 21 years, we determine what would fit and be helpful to members to succeed. However, we also ask them, what do they want to learn? Right now, creative financing, it's nothing new. But it's popular, and it's also a tool that works in this market. So people wanted tax planning. I noticed they wanted tax planning, creative structures for creative financing and deals were like two of the biggest things. So that shows me our members want to get more deals done. They want to know more creative ways. So we'll do seller carryback, subject to, lease options, wraps. We'll go over all that. And a lot of them want tax planning. So that means our members, obviously, they do transactions, they do deals. So they want to know how to pay less taxes, right? Be in a better tax situation, keep more of their money than giving it to Uncle Sam. So we will now create those classes, right? So we got the feedback, we asked for it, we didn't know what they were going to say, and we're going to give it to them. It's going to build our membership relationship with our members, right? There's another story here I wanted to share with you. Oh, for Virginia Satir was like a psychologist, right? So she same thing. So during her long career, she was hired by Michigan State Department of Social Services to provide a proposal on how to revamp and restructure the Department of Social Services so it would be serve the client population better. 60 days later, she provided the department with a 150-page report, which they said was the most amazing piece of work they have ever seen. This is brilliant. How did you come up with all these ideas? She replied, "Oh, I just went out to all the social workers in your system and asked them what it would take for the system to be better." And she compiled all the answers and gave it to the department. Pretty smart, right? What do we do in the wholesale world? We go to build our cash buyers list. Hey, what are you looking for? What are you buying right now? Right? And you'll start to notice buyers doing certain projects. They want to buy at certain prices. They like certain houses. I remember when I started, it was the Great Recession, and you can buy brand new 2003 built homes, cookie cutter red roof tiles at the auction for man, 40, 50, 60K, right? And I'm over here, I was in the tough neighborhoods buying 19, trying to wholesale 1950 houses, 1940 houses, 2 bedroom. No one wanted, you can buy a 4 bedroom, 2 bath cookie cutter house in a nice neighborhood at the auction for 50 grand. Why are you going to go to a tough neighborhood, buy a 1945 built house? That's a 4 bedroom. It's roughly the same price, right? Like, so I was able to learn that if I wanted to sell to those buyers, I got to go get those new houses, right? So I could sell them as well. However, along with that, I also just said, hey, let me find out who the buyers are in these communities, because everyone was so saturated with the foreclosure market. I didn't go to the auction. I would go direct to seller. So I then had to say, well, let me see who's buying properties. Let me look at the cash sold deals in these neighborhoods that I've been focusing in that are a little bit older, and see who's buying here. And then once I found out who was buying there and I got in contact with them, I asked them what they like to buy in that neighborhood, right? So there's a buyer for every area. You just got to find them. There might be more or less, it just depends. But I found out and I asked them what they wanted. And I went to the homeowners and I went to those neighborhoods and those pockets, and I got them under contract and I assigned them. So feedback. You got to ask for feedback. Human beings, no, I don't like that one. Let's see. So is all feedback accurate? No, all feedback is useful or accurate, but you must consider the source. Some feedback is polluted by distortions. For example, if your drunk husband tells you you're a no good bleep, that's probably not the accurate feedback, right? So be cautious also to who it's coming from, right? So someone knows nothing about real estate, especially in today's world, where when things slow down a little bit, things might get a little harder to do a transaction. Real estate agents quit, investors quit, right? The market's not hot anymore, whatever the case may be. Everyone leaves. Or if you ask your friends, family members, should I get into real estate? No, it's not. It's not real. You can't make that much money. You're not rich. Whatever these things people say. Do they own houses? Do they own 5 houses? Have they flipped 5 houses? Right? You might not want to take their information. Right now is the time when things are a little bit slower. Houses are sitting on the market longer. Interest rates are high. This is the time to get in. Right? This when 3 years. I've been in all markets. There's a way to succeed in all markets. But right now, when it slows down, that's when you need to jump in, right? That's when you find the good deals that are profitable. So when people are telling you to run, this is where you need to be in buying. Look for patterns. You should look for patterns and the feedback you get. If one person tells you you're a horse, they're crazy. If 3 people tell you you're a horse, they're a conspiracy afoot. If 10 people tell you you're a horse, buy a saddle, right? The point is, if several people are telling you the same thing, there's probably some truth to it. Why resist it, right? You may think you get to be right, but the question you have to ask yourself: would I rather be right or be happy? Would I rather be right or successful? So, what to do when feedback tells you failed? Acknowledge you did the best you could with the awareness, knowledge, and skills you have. Acknowledge that you survived and that you could absolutely cope with any and all consequences. write down everything you learned, write all your insights and lessons down, right? And then read through this file, ask others involved, your family, employees, clients, others, what they learned. I often have my staff write, I learned that at the top of the paper, and then write as much as they can think of in 5 minute period. Then we take the list and ways to do it better next time. So basically, you're just evaluating the feedback, and you're being very open to it, right? Um, so when you're in your personal life, while you're jumping into this real estate world and trying to figure things out, stay in communication with your family, because you need the family support. If your family doesn't support you in this, your spouse, whoever it is, friends, family, they're making it rough on you, it's going to be hard to succeed. You need to be, and even if that means, that doesn't mean don't hang out with them, get rid of them. Just means get more people in the real estate business. Go to networking events, get the education, be around people doing deals, and those type of people will give you the support that you need. But you still want your friends and family to believe in you. So take this feedback. If it's come from the good sources, just like in the beginning. So if you're just hopping on here, you probably missed the analogy, which was pretty much takes the whole thing home. Is in the beginning, we just basically said Jack would have be at the front stage, volunteer in the back, and he would walk directly towards them, but he would purposely zigzag. And the goal of the volunteer would say on course, off course. And when that person said off course, he didn't give up, he didn't quit, he didn't get mad at them, right? So he took it for what it was and got back on course. He was off course more than he was on course, but he still got there is the key. So take time to go back and review all this feedback, right? So it's very important, and you're gonna want to get in groups. You are who you hang out with. So like I said, wherever you are, if you're in Arizona, we'd love to have you come by the Arizona Real Estate Investors Association. We have online meetings as well if you're not here in Arizona, or come in person. We will be your support system. Our members are the type that will build you up and encourage you and share resources, and let you know if you're on the right track or not, on course or off course. So that's wherever you are in this world, go find that group, right? And get the education and apply the education, and ask for feedback with those that you are working on. Hey, even when I talk to homeowners, right? I always say, here's a line I would always use. Hey, this is kind of is future pacing, and when you you're sitting with the seller before you get the contract, and you're just like, hey, when this is all said and done, right? I buy the house from you. We signed all the papers. The money's in the bank. The money's in your pocket. You're ready to set that next vacation or whatever their goals were. I said, I need you to do one thing, for one small favor. Would you write a testimonial for me as to how well I did in this transaction? Because there's going to be someone just like you in this situation that needed to sell their house, and they might not think there's anyone out there that could help them. And if you write this testimonial and give me feedback on how I did, good or bad, I don't mind. I could share it with them, right? Obviously, it'd be tough to share bad feedback to the person, but they'll give you that feedback, and they'll say, you were wonderful, you were kind, you listened. Or they might say, hey, you might have tried to push a little too much, right? They'll give you something that you can use. So because those homeowners that have problems in their life, that are selling their property at a discount, they're very similar. As you do hundreds and hundreds of deals like I have, you're going to notice patterns and trends of these homeowners and cash buyers, right? And you're going to know how to deal with it, because people are going to tell you what they liked and didn't like. And rather than getting mad at them and quitting or making a fuss of it, you just take it and you adjust and test and tweak and get better till your process is down and smooth. So there you go. Accept feedback, ask for feedback, be appreciative for feedback in everything and anything you do. This was episode 18. All right, we're shooting for 64. If you're new to hopping on this, go back to episode number 1, watch all 17 so you can get caught up, because all 64 principles build upon each other. You can go in the description. I have a bunch of free ebooks you can download if you're interested in real estate investing. reach out to me, send me a comment, question. I'll talk about anything about real estate right now if you want to ask me a question. Yeah, I'm good. So what else we got? No questions out there? Even if you go drop one in later, all good. I try to get on here every single day to get to the 64. Hopefully you can see my consistency that and where I'm coming from in sharing this, because it's changed my life, and hopefully you can do the same for you. If you go to my Instagram at Michael DelPrete, I went 150 days straight talking about wholesaling real estate. And also I'm on a mission to complete 100 podcast interviews. So I always challenge myself with these series. It helps me put out content, helps me articulate my thoughts better, and it's just a challenge, right? So what can you challenge yourself to today? Doesn't have to be 100 of anything, right? It doesn't have to be 64. It could be 2, right? Go write an offer. Go tell someone you're buying houses cash, right? Go to go to one networking event a week, wherever you're at in your journey. Commit to something. So I'm going to commit to these 64 podcast episodes for you guys. So that's a wrap. Mike DelPrete, Executive Director, AZREIA, Arizona Real Estate Investors Association. You can always go to AZREIA, AZREIA.org, and learn more about us. That's a wrap for episode 18. I'll be back tomorrow for 19. Take it easy.